Welcome back to Everything Figure Skating. This is the continuing introduction to the EFS calendar. Today we're going to go through logging into the calendar, navigating the calendar, scheduling events, and editing events. But rather than look at the PowerPoints, let's actually get in there and play with it. The first thing to discuss is how to log into the calendar. There's two ways to do it. One is to log in to the Everything Figure Skating website. So here I go, log in. Once you've logged in, you'll notice up on the left there's a button for the calendar. Click on the calendar button and it'll take you to the login screen for the calendar itself. That's one way of getting in. One thing that I've done is I've gone out to my desktop and I have it linked onto my desktop. So by selecting the link on my desktop, it takes me directly into the login screen. Sure enough, type in your username, your password, hit login, and it opens the calendar up in a week view. So now at a glance I can see what's going on in the current week. The way to navigate the calendar is, well, for starters, you've got these arrows on the left and the right side. And so if I select an arrow on the right side here, it'll take me to the next week. And if I select the arrow on the left side, it takes me to the prior week. And I can do that multiple times. At any point when I'm going through the calendar that I want to return to the current week, down at the bottom there is on the menu, it says today. Click on today and it will take you back to today. Other ways to navigate it is you'll notice at the very bottom there's a pick list for weeks. So if I need to look at a week in the future, I can go ahead, select that week, say go. If I want to look at a month at a glance, I can select the month, hit go, and it'll give me a month. Or if I want to see an annual calendar, down at the bottom again, I can select the year and hit go, and it'll give me an annual view. In this case here, I want to look at today, select today, I get today in a view. Or if I want to go back to my week view, then I can go ahead and select the week. This is March 6th. Say go, and it'll give me the week at a view. So navigating it's pretty easy. Entering or scheduling an event or some kind of an activity is pretty straightforward too. Let's say I come up here on Friday. Friday I'm going to schedule something at 9 o'clock. You'll notice that 9 o'clock is blank up here. In the corner there's a little X. If you hold a cursor over it, it says new entry. By selecting that X, it takes me into an entry screen. And in the entry screen, you'll notice down here the date is, in this case, March 11th. The time is 9. So it's the same date and time as I selected on the calendar. So let's add something. I'm going to put together get together. With team. And this is just going to be a meeting of the skating club. It's going to last for an hour. So down at the bottom, underneath where the time is, I'm going to put the duration is 1 hour. Once I save that, you'll notice over here on Friday at 9 o'clock, I have scheduled get together with the team. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is if you come down at the bottom on the menu, you'll notice there's a button that says add new entry. If I select new entry, then I can come up here, and this gives me an untimed event. What I may want to do is turn it into a timed event. So I select timed event, Then I have to go down and say what time. In this case here, I'm going to say 12 o'clock. For 1 hour. And it's just going to be a luncheon. So we'll have lunch with Coach. And we can put in the description area something relative to what the lunch is all about. In this case here, it's going to be a meeting. We're going to meet to discuss next lesson. Hit save. And it should appear on my calendar. Yep, there it is. Oh, but I made a mistake. Look at the time. I made it for 12 a.m. Not really interested in going to lunch at 12 in the morning. So I'm going to have to edit this event. Now, editing the event, you'll notice that when I put the cursor over the event itself, a little pop-up comes up. It describes what it is. That's where you want to go if you want to edit the event. So I'll select the event. It comes back to a page that kind of summarizes the details that I typed in. And I come down here to where it says Edit Entry. Select Edit Entry. Now I'm back into that Edit Entry screen. And sure enough, if I come down here on the time, it says 12 a.m. Let's change that to 12 p.m. Now it's turned up on the calendar in a manner that's more suiting my schedule. Let's try something else. Let's try to set up an event where I'm going to invite other people to participate, to join me. And so I'm going to come over here on Saturday, and on Saturday at 1 o'clock, there's going to be a workshop. And what the workshop is Brian Boitano. And he's going to give, of all things, a cooking class. I really thought this would be kind of fun, seeing how he's such an icon in figure skating. He's going to be talking about cooking. And actually, Brian will put down here in this description, Brian talks about cooking. But in this case here, what I want to do is I want to invite other people to join me. So by selecting the tab up there, it says participants, I have a list of users that are common with me, that are part of my user group. And so I want to invite these users to join, these friends of mine. These are my friends. And so one of my friends is Jason Bourne. And then there's Sarah. And then there's me. Now you always have to remember when you go through and you select your participants that you include yourself, because these are the people that are going to have this particular entry put onto their calendar. And that's what we're doing. We're actually not just inviting them, but we're going to put an entry on their calendar. And you'll see, so here are the three individuals, myself plus Sarah and Jason. I say okay. I come here and save it. Once I save it, sure enough, over here on the right, you'll see where it says Brian Boitano's cooking class. How cool is that? So what will happen now is that on the calendars of the people that I have invited, an entry is going to be made onto their calendar that looks like this one up here on my calendar that's in red. Here I have a birthday party at 10 a.m. But it's in red because I have not approved it. So this is something that somebody else has actually added to my calendar. If we look down here in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see that there is something that says you have one unapproved event. So by selecting you have one unapproved event, I can come back to a list of events that have been posted onto my calendar by other individuals. And sure enough, here's the birthday party. I have the option of approving or confirming it or rejecting it and deleting it from my calendar. In this case here, I'm actually going to approve it. So I hit approve. A little button comes up that says OK, say OK. And then when I go back to my calendar, let's get it back into a week view. When I get it back to my calendar, you'll notice that it's no longer red. It's now in green. It's an approved event. So really entering events onto your calendar and setting up your schedules, it's pretty easy to do. You can set it up for yourself. You can set up schedule events that will be including you and other people. And you can actually go in and you can cancel events. I can, if I want to, I can go into the birthday party in here. And by opening it, I can go in and actually delete it. And how you delete it is when you get into the detailed page like this, you'll notice off here on the left there's the edit entry, delete entry, copy entry, and email all participants. In this case, I'm going to delete this particular entry. And then it disappears from the map or from the calendar. So that's pretty much how the calendar works, how you add things to the calendar, how you can go in, make edits to the calendar. Oh, we've got one other thing that we can do. We can actually schedule repetitive or repeating events. So here I'm going to go ahead and set up some kind of an off-ice training event. So I can go into the brief description. I'll put off-ice training. And you'll notice that there's a tab up here that says repeat. Under repeat it says none. So we're going to change this to weekly. And the frequency in which I want to do it is I want to do it every week, once a week. So we'll put a 1 in there. And in this case here, it's going to be on Friday. And I want to do it for a month. So I'm starting on March. We're going to go ahead and do it through May. We'll say for 2 months. Come back here, say save. You'll notice my off-ice training is in here. It's scheduled for 1 o'clock on Friday. If we go to the following week, again, same off-ice training, 1 o'clock on Friday. And if I repeat this over and over and over again, you'll notice that it's in there every week. So repetitive type events, you can add those in as well. So let's review what we've done. We've looked at how to log into the calendar. We've looked how to navigate the calendar. We've also made a single entry for some kind of an event. We made a single entry for another event which included people that are in your user group. And while I'm talking about user group, the one thing that you need to know is if you want to set up a user group, you need to contact the EFS administrator. And to contact the EFS administrator, you'll find that on the page of the calendar and on the Everything Figure Skating pages, there is a contact button or a support button. By selecting either one of those, you can contact the administrator, tell them of the people who are members of EFS that you want to have included on your user group. In that way, it'll be on your list, and then when you set up schedules, you can include them in your schedule. You can also send emails to support Everything Figure Skating at everythingfigureskating.com. So that's it for today's tutorial. Stay tuned. We still have more to go with the calendar. I look forward to seeing you folks on the ice.